It's going to be a jump. Now here it looked like a jump. There, this looks like a foul to me.
Yeah.
Indiana, and you can see Caitlin saying you were right in front of her. What made you?
You just never know what's going to happen. It was worse than I thought from looking at it.
Caitlin Clark completely lost it on the refs after witnessing Sophie Cunningham take a brutal hit with no penalty. Honestly, the whole WNBA should be feeling embarrassed over what went down in the Indiana Fever's thrilling 78-74 win against the Seattle Storm. This wasn't just a missed call. It perfectly highlights the ongoing issues with officiating in pro basketball today.
Like, I don't even know what the players can do because the players aren't being protected. And I know so many of the times, like, we're talking about this when it comes to the Indiana Fever, but this does happen across the league. There are many plays that we could pull up. Do you guys have any suggestions on what can actually be done? The coaches get fined when they call them out to the media. Like, this is a top-down issue. This is a commissioner's issue.
Sophie had just secured a defensive rebound and was clutching the ball when a Storm player basically slammed her to the floor. It looked more like a football tackle than basketball. Meanwhile, the referee was right there, just watching it go down like it was some casual park game instead of stepping in and calling a foul.
Now, am I ever advocating for players to throw other players on the ground? No, like we've seen so much of it throughout the WNBA. He watches this happen right in front of him. There's so much contact on the play and he does nothing. He doesn't blow his whistle. He doesn't stop the play. He doesn't call a foul.
That's when Clark completely lost it on the sidelines, even though she's been sidelined for 7 games straight due to that persistent groin injury.
We have updates and our recovery's going well. You know, it's just, I think for us staying the course and making sure that we're really diligent about each step that we take and that we don't have setbacks and that we're patient with it. I know she wants to be out here on the floor and we want her out here on the floor, but making sure that she's ready is the most important thing. You know, I still don't know how far we are. We're going to take it one step at a time, one day at a time. And go from there.
She couldn't hold back after seeing such obvious officiating failure. From the sidelines, she shouted, "You were right there. Why did you change your call?" That question should be on every basketball fan's mind right now. What we saw was beyond disappointing. It was next-level mishandling. If you're fed up with referees ruining the game and want to keep seeing Sophie Cunningham dominate on the court, hit that like button and type Sophie Savage in the comments. This situation is only heating up, and the controversy around WNBA officiating has reached a tipping point that can't be ignored. Clark's reaction perfectly highlights the biggest issue the league is facing this season.
The officiating in the WNBA, I kind of already went off on it, but it's just atrocious. Really, really bad. Like, there have got to be rules to present overt physicality from dominating the game. And that's what we've got. We've got it in the NBA. We've got it in the WNBA. Nobody wants to call a bunch of fouls, but these officials don't know what a foul is and a foul isn't. They can't even tell when a ball goes out of bounds. Like, you've got 2 million plus people watching some of these games. You have got to have a correctly officiated product, or at least confidently officiated product and competently officiated product.
The referee situation has officially spiraled out of control. It's no longer just Indiana Fever fans raising concerns. Players, coaches, and supporters throughout the league are openly criticizing officials for consistently poor calls week after week. To put it into perspective, Sophie Cunningham was slapped with a $500 fine just for posting a TikTok calling refs out, while blatant physical fouls on the court go completely unchecked. That says a lot about where the WNBA's priorities lie right now. The league's response hasn't helped either. Commissioner Kathy Engelbert had the nerve to claim that teams who don't complain about officiating, and only losing teams do. That's about as out of touch as it gets when your league's top player is being targeted every game and referees look the other way. Officiating has become such a problem that even respected coaches like Becky Hammon are publicly frustrated. Meanwhile, veteran players like Kelsey Plum show up to press events sporting fresh scratches and questioning why they only got 6 free throws despite constant physical play.
And I got scratches on my face, I got scratches on my body, and these guards on the other team get these ticky-tack fouls, and I'm sick of it. I get fouled like that every possession. Bikini gets fouled like that in the post all the time, and they don't call it, and I don't know what else to do. Like, it's really frustrating though. I'm like, I feel I mean, there's multiple shots at the end of the game, either go into the third, into the fourth, where they're just coming and swinging, and they just don't call it.
Amid all the referee drama, there's been one undeniable highlight. Sophie Cunningham delivered yet another outstanding performance. She stepped up big time and established herself as the Fever's go-to clutch player while Caitlin Clark is sidelined with injury.
That's a PNW win! W's in the chat.
W's in the chat.
Oh my gosh. That one just aged me, but we're getting better. Shoot, good win. Win's a win.
A dub is a dub, so keep on rolling.
Good job! Let's go! I'm really proud of you guys. There were so many ways in a close game and in game situation where we grew today that were huge for us, y'all. That will pay dividends. So great job. I'm proud of you guys. Everybody contributed. Everybody came in and gave us a lift. Kels, I know it was a tough shooting day, but the way you facilitated and that one big jumper that you made, we dug in and got stops when we needed to. I mean, big time win, y'all. Big time win.
She nailed 5 out of 6 shots from the field and drained 4 of 5 attempts from beyond the arc, finishing with 17 points. What really stands out is that Sophie was the only Indiana Fever player to hit a 3-pointer all game. That's a huge testament to her clutch ability and a worrying sign for the rest of the team.
Big games from Sophie Cunningham, the only player on the Indiana Fever to make her threes tonight. The Indiana Fever were 4 of 21 from downtown, and Sophie Cunningham hit all 4 of those threes. 17 points. And the difference between this and the Lynx game, which was Sophie Cunningham's last really good breakout game, this wasn't late. This was, oh, we're struggling offensively. Somebody needs to come through, and Sophie Cunningham came through.
Sophie's recent hot streak isn't just luck. She's been absolutely unstoppable lately, earning the nickname the Blonde Bomber for sinking clutch shots when her team needs them most. Her confidence has skyrocketed since that viral moment defending Clark during the Connecticut Sun Brawl, which turned her into an instant sensation. She gained over 800,000 new followers on social media and saw a huge jump in jersey sales. Now, she's playing like someone who knows every eye in the basketball world is glued to her, and she's rising to the occasion in spectacular fashion.
Sophie the Blonde Bomber, Sophie the Trophy, lit it up again tonight. Man, she has been nothing short of spectacular as of late. 5 of 6 from the floor, 4 of 5 from 3, 3 for 4 from the free throw line, 17 points, 2 assists, 5 rebounds. Sophie the Blonde Bomber has been on fire. Sophie stepped it up in a big time way. That is what you need. When your best player is out, you need the ancillary pieces to step up and deliver. And that is what Sophie Cunningham has been doing.
Sophie's rise from a supporting player to a bona fide star has been one of the season's most captivating stories. She's taken on the tough enforcer role while simultaneously being the team's most reliable scorer, a rare combo in pro basketball. However, her standout efforts couldn't fully cover up what nearly turned into another classic Fever collapse. Speaking of close calls, the Indiana Fever almost blew a 13-point lead in the third quarter, in that frustrating, all too familiar way. It's almost like comfortable leads give this coaching staff a panic attack. Longtime Fever fans know this pattern all too well.
The Fever did everything possible to blow a game, but still come out with the win. That was a near epic level collapse, folks. Wow, it should have never gotten that close. Lexi Hull, Stephanie White waited till the very last minute to put Hull in on defense. She should have been in there from 2 minutes in, 2.5 minutes in on defense. They could not seem to get a big rebound to save their life. And this almost turned into a disaster.
The Indiana Fever just almost pushed me to a heart attack. The Indiana Fever nearly blow a 12-point fourth quarter lead. We allow the Seattle Storm to go on an 11-0 run in the fourth quarter. Stephanie White, I keep telling y'all, I don't trust her. I'm sorry. We give up a 11-0 run within the last 4 minutes to let this team cut the lead down to.
Midway through the third quarter, The team was cruising with a 55-42 lead, thanks to Sophie's hot shooting and solid contributions from the rest of the squad. But then, as always seems to happen when Caitlin Clark isn't on the court, the Fever started playing like they'd never touched a basketball before. Seattle quickly went on a 10-2 run to close out the third, cutting the lead to just 4 points heading into the final 12 minutes. What should have been a straightforward road when quickly turned into a nerve-wracking ordeal for Fever fans everywhere. The fourth quarter collapse nearly repeated itself in full force. With just over 3 minutes left, the Storm had trimmed the lead to 73-72. At that moment, you could almost hear Fever fans everywhere reaching for their blood pressure meds, knowing all too well how this story usually ends. The team has developed this maddening pattern of building big leads only to completely forget how to play when the game's on the line.
Boy, they almost blew it. Nonsensical whistles to stop runs, or how about blowing a whistle to stop the other team's run? Coming out in the second half, I will never back off of this. When you come out in the second half and you start losing leads, that is a coaching issue. I don't care what sport you're in. All right? Because what that tells you is the opposing coach went into the second in the halftime, made adjustments. The other team comes out, and they start figuring it out. Well, it's up to your coach. It's up to your coach to make adjustments against that adjustment.
It's almost like the team hits some kind of mental block when it comes to finishing games strong. The main reason behind this near meltdown was glaringly obvious to anyone watching. The Fever almost lost it because Kelsey Mitchell had one of the worst shooting nights of her career. Honestly, watching her struggle was painful for the fans, her teammates, and probably Mitchell herself. She shot just 3 for 16 from the field and missed all 8 of her 3-point attempts. Basically, she was handing points over to the Seattle Storm all night long. Her shooting slump has become so predictable, you'd think you could forecast it by the lunar calendar or some cosmic rhythm.
Kelsey Mitchell could not get it going today. And I told y'all, she is a roller coaster. You got to remember, she went off versus the Sky. Then she was, 8 for 24. Then she had a good game. Then she was down again. Then last game she was up. This game she's down again at 3 of 16. This is Kelsey Mitchell. She's a roller coaster. She's a roller coaster. She gave you 9 points on 3 of 16, shooting 0 of 8 from 3.
Mitchell's inconsistency has become a major source of frustration for everyone involved. She's basically a roller coaster player. One game she can score 23 points, and the next, she's shooting barely 18%. There's rarely any middle ground, which leaves the coaching staff guessing what kind of performance they'll get night to night. Over the last few games, she's made just 11 of 34 shots, a painfully low efficiency. When your team's second leading scorer is shooting this poorly, it obviously makes winning a lot tougher. Thankfully, other players stepped up to help avoid a crushing loss. Aaliyah Boston reminded everyone why she's considered an all-star candidate, delivering her second straight strong outing with 16 points and 12 rebounds on 7 of 11 shooting. Boston looked like the dominant player we saw earlier in the season, before she went quiet for a stretch. Her 9-point streak midway through the fourth quarter was crucial in holding the team together when things started falling apart. Boston's recent return to form couldn't be more timely. She's finally looking like herself again after struggling since Clark's injury. If she keeps up this level of play, it would be a huge boost for the Fever, who desperately need consistent contributors beyond Sophie Cunningham. Boston's ability to control the paint and overpower smaller defenders like Mika Omic is exactly what this team requires without their primary playmaker. Her aggressive play on both ends, attacking the rim and playing active defense, has been a game changer. Veteran leadership has also played a huge role during this stretch. Natasha Howard deserves big credit for her back-to-back 21-point performances. She's been outstanding as a leader while the team navigates injuries and roster changes. Howard's ability to cut to the basket and finish plays with savvy has been critical. Her high basketball IQ helps a team that sometimes looks lost without Clark directing the offense and creating easy scoring chances. Howard knows her role and executes it perfectly, focusing on what she does best without trying to carry too much of the load herself. Her calm and steady presence has been invaluable in keeping the team composed during chaotic moments. She consistently makes smart plays at key times, preventing potential collapses. You can even see the younger players looking to her for guidance during timeouts and crunch time. That's exactly the kind of veteran leadership championship teams rely on, especially in a league where everyone wants to be a star, but few prioritize playing their role well. Meanwhile, Seattle had plenty of chances to steal the game, but failed to capitalize when it counted most. The Storm had numerous open looks down the stretch that they couldn't convert. Skylar Diggins-Smith missed 2 wide-open three-pointers that could have shifted momentum. Nika Omic, who finished with 16 points, couldn't find her rhythm in the fourth quarter when her team needed her most. The most painful moment for Storm fans was Gabby Williams' wide-open three at the buzzer that could have tied the game. The shot looked good off her hand, but just wouldn't fall. Basketball often comes down to those cruel bounces that decide wins and losses. The Storm's struggles to close out games have been their biggest Achilles heel this season. They have the talent to compete with any team, but repeatedly lose winnable games due to poor execution late. Their inability to establish a clear go-to player for clutch moments has only made things worse. This pattern is seriously hurting Seattle's playoff chances. The Storm stand at 16-13, having lost 3 of their last 4 home games. That's a tough spot when fighting for playoff positioning in an extremely competitive Western Conference. Time is running out for them to solve chemistry issues and late-game execution problems. For Indiana, this one was huge. The Fever improved to 17-12, tying Seattle for 5th place, but holding the tiebreaker. Even more impressive, they've now won 5 straight games without Clark, remarkable given how reliant they seemed on her earlier this season. The team's 9-7 record without her is solid, especially for a squad expected to crumble without their star point guard. That success, without Clark, raises questions about her return. The next few games will be critical as the Fever face tough opponents and need to maintain their playoff positioning while Clark recovers. Clark even showed up at the arena in shorts, hinting she might play, but ultimately didn't suit up, leaving fans guessing about her actual timeline. Is the team being overly cautious, or is there something more serious they're not disclosing? The playoff race adds urgency to every decision. The Western Conference is stacked, with many teams separated by just a few games. Every win matters for home court advantage and matchups. What makes this victory more impressive is how the Fever survived despite almost no production from the bench, aside from a few brief minutes by role players who barely impacted the game. The bench's invisibility remains a concern that could jeopardize their playoff hopes. Depth issues have been exposed multiple times this season and will be a major problem if the Fever want to make a deep postseason run. When starters struggle, like Mitchell did against Seattle, someone needs to step up off the bench with scoring or energy. Coach Stephanie White must figure out how to get more from her role players, because relying on Sophie Cunningham to be perfect every night isn't sustainable. Some coaching decisions, especially during crunch time, have been questionable. In a league filled with talented players capable of taking over games, you can't expect miracles from the same few stars every night. The bench has to contribute meaningful minutes for the team to survive a tough playoff stretch. White's rotations and timeout management during the late-game collapse showed why many fans doubt her ability to manage pressure situations. All these team challenges come alongside the league's ongoing officiating crisis, which has unfortunately become the biggest WNBA story this season, overshadowing the great basketball being played. Talented athletes deserve better than to have their performances ruined nightly by poor refereeing. The physicality is out of control, and players are getting hurt because officials fail to keep the game clean. Star players like Clark have missed significant time because refs refuse to protect them from overly aggressive defenders who push the limits without consequence. The broader impact of these officiating problems goes beyond individual games. Sophie Cunningham's reaction after being thrown down with no call perfectly summed up the growing frustration across the league. Clark's fiery sideline outburst reflected exactly how players feel. Something must change before the officiating crisis derails what should be a landmark season for women's basketball. The WNBA is experiencing unprecedented growth in popularity and attendance. The last thing the league needs is fans losing interest because games are decided by poor officiating instead of skill and athleticism. Despite the obstacles, the Fever keep finding ways to win. They've proven they can succeed without their superstar, but they shouldn't have to put up with referees who seem more interested in drama than fairness. Officials should let the best players shine on the biggest stage, not create chaos that takes away from the incredible talent on display. Looking ahead, there's still plenty of reason for optimism in Indiana.